What's good, BlakGooseTV family? Coming at you with another video on this beautiful Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm at right now, we got great weather, so I can't complain. You know what I'm saying? My Sunday's been peaceful on my day off. You heard me? Got to wake up when I wanted to. Watch a little movie in the morning, and after I went to the gym, I got in some real good work. And then I stopped by, said what's up to some of my folks. Now I'm headed back to the crib. Most likely I'm gonna get on that NBA Live, you heard me? That's not what this video was about. I wanted to do a quick video on the Kevin Lee RDA fight. Obviously I didn't do a post-fight results for the Kevin Lee RDA fight. I'm gonna make a video similar to my fight week videos on the RDA Kevin Lee fight, the Deontay Wilder Dominic Brazil fight, the Joe Joyce fight, the Josh Taylor fight, and I'm forgetting one more person, but I'm gonna do that video on them as well too. Not sure if I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it tonight just because I like to chill on my Sundays. But I know for sure look out for those tomorrow and Tuesday. Who knows? I might go ahead and put some out tonight, but for the most part, probably won't come out till tomorrow and Tuesday. So, anyways, let's talk about it. Kevin Lee lost to RDA. Submitted. My prediction of the fight, I thought Kevin Lee was actually going to bully RDA, similar to Usman and Kobe, and get it done by submission himself in the second round. Ironically, he was the one who got submitted in the third round, I believe it was. He was either the third round or fourth round. I think it was the fourth round. But, so, let's talk about it. Why did he lose? All right? Obviously, this is strictly my opinion. None of this is fact-based, just from what I saw. Kevin Lee gassed. And not only did he gas out, but he gassed out in the first round. Just from the eye test, from what I saw, from what I was watching, he came out really, really aggressive. He had that adrenaline dump. Now, someone who's an experienced fighter is Kevin Lee, regardless of his age, because he is a young man still in the fight game. He has enough experience and been in enough big fights to know that, there's always going to be an adrenaline dump in the very beginning. That's what you train for, right? You have those long, intense training camps, so when that adrenaline dump does happen, for the most part, you can recover. So the question isn't why did Kevin Lee come out so hard, because obviously he put himself in a position where he can gas out early, but why didn't he make a recovery, right? Because I've seen Kevin Lee multiple times come out pretty hard, you know what I'm saying? If you want to even go back to his most recent fight with Ali Quinta, he came out pretty hard in that first round. Those first 3 rounds with Ali Quinta were pretty intense, man, and Kevin Lee cardio held up beautifully. The only time I ever seen Kevin Lee gas, if you want to be 100, was when he fought Tony Ferguson, and obviously he went into that with a staph infection. So that's probably the only time I ever seen Kevin Lee gas. So why did he gas out so early in this most recent fight and not be able to recover from it later on in the fight, catch that second win? Well, me personally, I would have to say it would, not necessarily the fact that he had more weight on, but I would say personally, I think it's because he wasn't used to training at that weight. He's trained at a lower weight his whole life. Even though he walks around as a heavy guy, when he goes into fight week, when he's 3-4 weeks out of the fight, he's at a lower weight. He's close to 155. He's probably trained about around 170. So think about that. At the weight that he just fought at is what his whole career, he's used to training at that weight, getting ready to drop down to 155. So you know what that tells me is most likely he was training at a heavier weight this fight camp. And then when obviously as he got closer to the fight, he started to shed off some extra weight. Get that right. Bumpy road. He started to shed off some extra weight, getting closer to the fight. So, you know, maybe when he got to fight week, he was walking around at about 176, 177. Maybe that whole month, maybe he was walking around about like 185 to 180. Now, that's significant if you are not used to this, okay? If you are not used to training this heavy, and even when you drop weight, you're still at a pretty heavy weight, your stamina is just not going to be the same. It's going to be very hard for you to recover, right? Though we've seen it in, at least mostly for this year and a little bit in the last year, everyone who's moved up to weight has been has been beneficial not only for their cardio but for their power. Opposite effect took place for Kevin Lee. Not only that, Kevin Lee still looks pretty ripped, a pretty low body fat percentage for being at 170. So can you blame his weight for him gassing out? Was it just a bad training camp? Maybe he was sick. But from what I saw, I was very surprised by the fact that not only did he gas out from the adrenaline dump that he had in the first round, but he never recovered, man. If you watch that fight again, after maybe in that last 50 seconds in the first round, from then all the way to when he got submitted, he was basically fighting with his mouth wide open. You know what I'm saying? And RDA obviously saw that, and RDA he stayed steady but put pressure on him at the right times because he saw Kevin Lee slowly breaking. This is a minor setback for Kevin Lee, obviously, because he's still young. I think for him, his biggest problem, and a lot of people don't mention this just because a lot of people don't like Kevin Lee, is, you know, the passing of his head coach that happened not too long ago, right? A lot of people don't say that or talk about it, right? He hasn't found a head coach yet. As of his last, I want to say 3 fights, it's been Dewey Cooper, and his last 3 fights was, if I'm not wrong, Ferguson, Eli Quinta, then obviously this past fight against RDA. So that's 3 losses, right? His head coach passed away, I think, the fight right before the Tony Ferguson fight. So Dewey Cooper's been his head coach for the last 3 fights. Dewey Cooper is an exceptional and very knowledgeable striking coach. You know, there's very few that's better than Dewey Cooper at what he does when it comes to striking. But I personally believe Kevin Lee needs to find not necessarily a home. I'm not saying he has to switch gyms or anything, but he has to find someone who can allow him to put everything together like he used to do before that fight with Tony Ferguson. It seems like now, just when I was just, and if you remember my prediction for him against RDA, I assumed he was going to come right out and he was going to go for takedown after takedown. He did the opposite. He actually came out and he looked good too. His striking looked good in that first round. But for probably about the first minute and a half or something like that, it was a stand-up battle. And then it came, and out of nowhere, it seemed like a desperation takedown came from Kevin Lee. And then from there, it kind of just went downhill. And my only thing is I just don't see the fluidity he used to have with his striking and his takedown. It seemed like before, if this makes sense, he would use his wrestling to set up his striking just because he is an elite wrestler, and his striking is not that he has not great striking, right? Because he has cool striking, but I feel like the reason why he can never be a great striker is just because of how long his arms are. So because he has such long arms, for him to be a combination striker, it'll be kind of hard for him. And what I mean by that, I just mean body proportions. For him having such long arms for the height he is, it'll be hard for him to become a great striker just because he's learning it at such a late time in his career. If he learned it at striking maybe at like 10, 11 or something like that, it would work out. But for someone with such long arms and the body proportions he has, and to be more of a wrestler, for him to end up becoming an elite striker, it's going to be hard. So with that being said, he used to set up his striking with his wrestling. He would come right out, grind, wrestle, take you down, try to take the back, and if that doesn't work, then he would throw in some striking, a couple jabs here, a couple 2s, 3s, back you up to the cage, then he'll go ahead and go for that takedown. The last 3 fights, I've seen the opposite. I could easily be wrong. This is obviously my opinion, so nothing I'm saying is fact, but You know, I think Kevin Lee's biggest problem is the fact that I think he needs someone to help him put it all together and remind him, as good of a striker you are and the knowledge you have on striking, you need to use your wrestling to set up your striking instead of the other way around. But yeah, man, I won't lie. I was disappointed to see Kevin Lee take the L, but that doesn't mean anything for him. It's a short setback. RDA is a great opponent, so it's a great L to take too. He's got to learn from here, and he's got to keep working. And he's a young guy, so he still has a bright future. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say on that. I might be posting another video tonight. Not sure about it. Either way it goes, I'm enjoying my Sunday. Y'all should too. Mr. Positivity is in the building, but now Mr. Positivity is out the building. BlakGooseTV family, stay up. You heard me?